Hello, friends. Welcome to this episode of the Chet Airliner podcast. I wanted this to be episode 3, but it looks now like it's actually episode 1. My first attempt at an episode got a bit messed up because I accidentally deleted the project file. So in the end, I called that episode 0. I still posted it because I think it's listenable, and the subject matter covered in it is important to me. Mistakes will happen, just keep going, because none of that actually matters at all. I'll still do what I intended to do for what would have been the prior episode, and that'll come out next. This episode is different than what it will often be because it features guests, which was a lot of fun. I got to sit down with my friends Chris and Joe Almeda and talk about a film franchise that we all love, despite its flaws. Chris and Joe are brothers. They create skits/videos that you can find on their YouTube channel. It's called Favor to Betty Productions, but it is really hard to find simply by searching. So I will absolutely put a link to the channel in the video description for this episode. The music that you hear, as always, is my own, made fresh for this episode. As will always be the case, it's free and available to all for any purpose whatsoever. A link will be in the description. Not much else to say right now in terms of an intro. The conversation we had was a lot of fun. As I speak, it's a Thursday. We recorded this last Sunday, so it was very recent. Generally speaking, my solo episodes will be fairly short, but the episodes with guests will likely be longer, because that's just the nature of good conversations. I have numerous shared interests with these guys, so there's a good chance that we all will get together in the future and talk about other things. And so, without any further preamble, I now present the conversation I had with the Almeda brothers about the Predator film franchise. This is the Chet Airliner podcast. I've already done an intro before this, so we'll get right to it. I'm here with my good friends Chris and Joe Almeda.
This is correct.
That's correct.
Let's introduce yourselves.
My name is Christopher McLean Almeda.
Mm-hmm.
McLean after John McClane from Die Hard, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super pumped to talk about this beautiful franchise that has been with me since I was a young boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pass things over to my better half.
My name is Joseph David Almeda. David is in the father of Jesus, the surrogate father of Jesus. Anyway, we can't wait to kick this off. We're going to talk about the Youch, and we're really going to get wet with it.
Very nice. So I'll talk about real quick my context with this, because it's a much shorter story than your guys' context. And we'll just kind of get that out of the way. And for any listener, spoilers abound. Pretty hard to talk about an entire franchise without stuff like that. So beware if somehow you've not seen some of these movies and you intend to, hit pause, watch them all. We'll be waiting. So my context with this was that what was minimal. This isn't a franchise that I really saw much of or even thought I liked. So I saw the original movie, for sure, like on TV when I was a kid.
Edited?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Like network TV.
Commercials.
Language scrubbed. Didn't matter. I remember my aunt, my mom's sister, talked about it. And she really likes Star Trek and sci-fi and stuff like that. Just so I knew there was an invisible alien, which I thought was a whole lot less cool than a visible alien. But it was Schwarzenegger, and I love Schwarzenegger, and I definitely went through a kick where I watched a ton of Schwarzenegger movies, like all of them except Conan.
That's rough. That's a rough watch.
Even the Western he was in. Did you ever see that?
No.
He has black hair.
Oh, that's like the first thing he did, right?
It was really
Yeah,
early.
yeah.
And his thing was he had a 7-shot 6-shooter, which always threw people for a loop.
That's so good.
Makes no sense.
But they was like jumping on trains, and it was the least believable thing in the world because it was Arnold.
The size of those bullets.
And so I caught glimpses of it here and there and thought it was cool, but I was much more like a Terminator guy in terms of Arnold stuff, right?
Right, yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, and I just have memories of watching it, and I remember when you finally do get to see the Predator in it, and there's that kind of slow motion part where he's like jumping from rock to rock.
Yeah.
That's ingrained in my head. And I guess during shooting, I think it's cool that he was on like a harness or something to make those jumps because the suit was kind of unruly.
Well, is this the new suit or the arachnid John Claude
The
Van
one
Damme?
that's in the movie.
The original John Claude.
That original suit was pretty rough.
To think they had John Claude in that thing at all.
I know.
For a minute.
Yeah, I don't know how cumbersome it was and stuff, but yeah, I guess when they really started shooting, they're just like, this won't work, which is such a huge bullet to bite.
They had the original ant head, right?
It was a bug.
Yeah.
Which kind of came back. We'll get to it, but like
with the mask
in the third movie.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. There's something that looks like that.
Oh, okay.
That I think
more
yeah.
Predators.
I think it's based on that original thing. I mean, it's a nod to it.
Cool.
So like 2013 or something like that, for whatever reason, one of my friends wanted to watch it. His name's Nate, and he knows a shit ton about movies.
The first one we're talking about?
Yeah, and so we did, like we got it on Netflix or something like, and still just kind of thought of it as like just guns in the jungle, the commando that tried to be sci-fi, stuff like that, and it just ended there. I was not at all compelled to seek out more. Not that there was even anything but when did the third movie come out?
2010.
Yeah.
I really like
okay,
that.
so that was
I can't
out.
stand Topher Grace though.
Yeah, that's right.
So I hadn't seen 2. I hadn't seen anything else, and just wasn't really compelled to. And the Alien and Predator franchise always seemed like kind of like you like one or the other, almost like Star Wars or Star Trek, something like that. Like, and I just felt like I'm an Alien guy. Like I just am, and like Arnold, like stick around, like that doesn't speak to me nearly as much. Oh, but in hindsight, it's awesome for what it is.
Right. It's the weakest of the whole of all of them are probably number 2 for me.
Well, we'll get there. I'll ask you to rank them
just because of arguably, I would say that CGI is worse.
I'm gonna go on record as a hard disagree. Predator 2 is like if I'm thinking about putting on the franchise and throwing on a movie.
You're gonna start there.
I'm hard to.
And there's zero CGI. I mean, that wasn't even a thing.
No, I mean when he goes Predator visibility, it was a little cheesy at times because they were using
He was not cheesy at all in 2. What are you talking about?
I mean, I guess that's.
When's the last time you saw 2?
Subjective.
Back it up.
I probably
back it up, reining it in. Okay, so there was my everything, my foundation, and it wasn't until you guys urged me to watch Predator 2. I think it was one of those like you're at the top of the stairs and we're just talking.
Clearly not me.
Yeah, okay, it must have just been you. Like in your apartment. It was over a year ago, but it was around Christmas, and like Predator 2 is like kind of a Christmas movie. Like it came out at Christmas, even though it's obviously not Christmas during it. I don't know what time of year it is. You never know with LA, but
it's in an alien world.
Yeah, it's in the future. 1997.
That's the year. It's 97. Is it takes place?
Yeah.
Is that what was
the movie's from like 1991?
When did Escape from New York take place?
You got 97? Me. What's so funny is I watched that this morning.
I think that's also.
We're off topic, guys.
Yeah.
I think it's 97. Pretty sure. Yeah.
It was barely. They were just like. In the future, 4 years from now, where everything's the same except the guns look funny.
Yes,
that's the only thing they changed.
It's a lot hotter.
Yeah,
it's hotter because of global warming, which they come back to in the
which is yet to happen. I want to mark that.
And so you urged me to watch it, and so I did, and I didn't really like it.
Which one was this?
2.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'll say, I love it, but I didn't at the time.
I'll wait for the
you don't have a plan.
And I was just like, not good, man. And you're like, what are you talking about? And we talk about it, but I'm just like, it's just not a good movie. These performances are not that great. All this stuff, whatever, just wasn't into it. I can't pinpoint the moment where I kind of like decided to check out the rest of the movies.
What was the third one you saw?
You watched them in order?
It's tough to watch.
Did watch them in order. Yeah, I did. I mean, which is good because, man, for fans of the franchise, if you were down from day one, you've had some long and unfulfilling waits. But something that I want to kind of focus on or talk about a bit is that the movies are not even the most interesting part of it all. That's the thing. These films, they all have flaws, some of them more than others. There's just a lot of disappointments from these movies. And what do you expect from 20th Century Fox? Right? I mean,
take that, Fox.
Yeah, take that.
I mean, the Adrian Brody one was the first one I really fell into.
We'll get there.
It was like, hey, I like this one. What number was that?
3.
That was 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
one way or another, I just decided to check out more of it, and I did. And I watched stuff on the channel Alien Theory, which I can't say enough positive praise about, which obviously talks about Alien, but the other thing he talks about is Predator stuff.
Like lore of it?
Yes, and comics and stuff like that.
I'm into the lore of it.
And for me, that's what got me there.
Right.
It was not the strength of these films that made me like a believer.
Right. But the strengths of the written novels and the written
of the whole thing, right?
Of
And what's so funny
it,
too is that like the brothers, Jim and John, former lifeguards,
I did not know.
that makes sense.
that wrote these movies.
They were trying to save people's lives.
They wrote the first 2. You know, it's there's almost like no one person responsible for this. I mean, if anything, it's them for like planting the seed and all that stuff. But there have been so many creative efforts and minds and people involved and cooks in the kitchen, which like actually is a good thing, not necessarily for the movies, but overall. And so it is the lore, and that actually really gets me there. And then I can appreciate the movies because I don't need them to be all of it.
Right.
And so since then, I've read several of the Dark Horse comics that came out after the first movie. 3 novelizations from the Dark Horse comics, so Concrete Jungle, and then there's one called Cold War, which is really cool. It involves the Russians and the United States and just the nascent relationship they had post-Soviet Union. It's great. I mean, these books are actually really good books. I had low expectations, and they're actually really good. And I would then flip back and read the comic that this is the novelization of, and while they're good, you know,
Comics are better.
I think so.
Agreed.
I like them both. I mean, I think the books, I think the novelizations of the comics just breathe more life into it because you get more internal. You know, who wants to read a comic book that's just panels and panels
and I think
of text?
I think the comic book has more ability to portray different things. Like the CGI has to be, the technology is limited to like what we can do at the time. But like comics, you can do whatever you want. Your story can go out into space, and you can talk about crazy technology. And we don't need CGI thousands of dollars to put that up. You know what I mean?
And yet, like those initial Dark Horse comics and stuff, they aren't really, there's not, you know, much fantastic imagery or anything that couldn't be filmed. The main character in Concrete Jungle and in Cold War is Detective Schaefer, Dutch Schaefer's brother.
Cool.
So it takes place a little while later, and he's a New York City cop.
Do they team up like AVP style with that chick?
No, you never see him. Or does he team up? He doesn't team up with Predators either.
Okay.
At all.
No, but eventually his brother does come back. Did you know that?
I don't. So, well, there's a video game, and he's in it, and Arnold did the voicing for it.
Right, and they called him like Arnold 2050 or something like that.
There was
like,
a robotic one as well, but I think there's one with just Dutch.
But it's and he had a whole comic about just him fighting against the Predators, and like they bring him back in that specific video game you were talking about, Predator Hunting Grounds. It was called, and it was really cool because then you're like, how is he still alive? And like, you know, how much of a veteran is he now at killing predators? You know?
Yeah, and they tell you, in at least what I've covered, and it's none of that, but he did escape the jungle. He had radiation poisoning, which, thank you, makes sense. A nuke went off like 5 feet from him. You know,
the mud's not going to save him from the nuke.
No. Then he's in the hospital, and he escapes the hospital, and no one's heard of him since.
And why did he escape? Because the government was searching for
probably
him?
because they were. And that guy Phillips, so that sends him on the mission. That's in the scene with like, you know, the high five, like that guy.
Big bicep high fives.
Right. That's Phillips that's sending him on the mission. He's in all of these.
Oh, cool.
You know, he's still the government goon that's in charge of the secret agency that's dealing with that stuff.
Okay.
Right? I've read one of the brand new comics, so here's what's great, is Marvel is putting out new Alien and new Predator comics.
Yes.
And there's only 2 issues of the Predator one so far, and I got them both. I read the first one, Samantha read the second one, now we've traded. I haven't started the second one yet.
You should fuck with the Alien ones, it gets so fucked up.
Bloodlines?
Oh,
that's the brand new one.
There's this one where this guy is taken into an alien's nest, and he becomes a worker, and they feed him this goo, and if he's not happy with the goo, and then eventually they take him to his mother, and his mother is this giant woman now because they've been feeding her this goo, and she's
like the slurm
she's
queen.
a giant,
Yes.
she's a giant breeding ground now. Nice. And they want him to have sex with his mother to produce more workers,
As one does.
and it was messed up.
Does he
And this
do
dude
it?
snaps. No, he snaps. And he like strangles her or he kills her, but because he's one of the he doesn't cause a lot of problems, and he's really one of the most relied on workers because he's done all this shit and he's just swallowing this gunk and all this stuff. So they didn't really trip on him too much. I don't know if that's the terminology. The aliens did not trip on him.
The other novelization I read is called Big Game, which the main character is, believe it or not, a Native American. Ringing the bell!
What's her
Get
name?
out of
Is
here.
it a girl?
It's a guy. But still, concrete jungle, urban environment. Cold War, desolate, frozen desert.
There seems to be a
AVP1.
running thing with the Native Americans
Big game.
lately.
Well,
in the
right.
Predator
Native American
franchise.
protagonist. Like, the people behind the Dark Horse comics that came out before even the second movie, I think deserve more credit than they get. And someone even asked the author of the comic Concrete Jungle, do you care about not being credited? The first book of this is like the entire second movie. He's like, no, they're all nice guys. I'm fine with this. I've written other stuff in Hollywood. It's cool. Whatever. It's not about legacy. It's just about I have
Adding to
a
the
great job that I love doing.
collective
Yeah,
knowledge. There
which
was
is like the
one
most like
Predator.
high road you can take with something
There
like
was one predator in the series that became it was an actual human became a predator and was
Machiko?
allowed. I believe it was.
Yeah.
She was Japanese or
that.
Chinese.
Yeah. I just started that one.
Yes.
It's called
Yeah.
Prey.
She is.
It's a book.
Yes,
It came out
just
way long
just
time
like
ago.
The movie, but we don't have a basketball
Yeah.
player in it for this time.
So Hulu wrote this comic.
No,
right?
no.
No,
This
no.
book,
Oh.
it's the first Alien versus Predator book and comic, and it's called
Is it a
Prey.
graphic novel?
It's got a just straight up comic series, and then
Oh.
it has a novelization. I'm listening to the audiobook of the novelization.
Written by Hulu.
Yeah, no.
Written by
I know
Hulu,
all
which did
about-
not exist
Okay.
a good 15,
I know all about
20
her, but I
years.
couldn't remember her name.
Yeah.
But I know that she's the only human
Yeah.
that became a predator that was actually respected among the predators.
Yeah.
Who are, let's
Yeah.
just throw it out. The predator species is called Yautja.
And in this book, they do the same thing where they scar their mask with the blood of it. I mean, AVP, like, hello, thank you.
They
Like,
gave
just
him the
took it.
Harry Potter lightning
Yeah,
bolt.
little
Yes.
Harry Potter on there.
And that's pretty much where I'm at. The other book I'm reading is called Predator South China Sea, and that's written by an author that I like a lot named Jeff Vandermeer, who wrote Annihilation. They made a movie out of that.
Right.
No, South
just
China
saying.
Sea is definitely good, because part
Right.
of the problem I have with some of this stuff is that you don't
not
care as
fleshed
much
out.
about the people. Many of these movies, if not all of them, there's a lot of characters, especially in The Predator, which I'll defend more than most, but still, you get a busload of shell-shocked military prisoners, and they all have like one quirk. The guy has Tourette's, or
Yeah.
Key
And
is
they
like
did. That was like their
funny,
first,
and
to
you
try
know,
to inject humor into it.
yeah, and
Really?
it works.
It
I mean,
kind of did, but at the same time, no, it fell apart because it was a B movie.
Joe, I'd like to add off.
fell apart for a lot of reasons.
I would
but
like to Jeff Vandermeer your life if I could.
Chris, I'll James Vanderbeek your whole career.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch that.
Yeah, I come
Okay.
on hot. Like
So
a
that's
takeout
my
movie.
arc. Never liked the movie. Didn't even like the second
No,
one.
it's
But
Cabbage
like
Patch.
once I got into like just the broader body of work, and I would say it's not the responsibility. I mean, these movies kind of failed me, and it's only when I took it upon myself to like enrich my foundation.
Find
of
out
it,
about shit they don't
you know,
tell you, mainstream.
and that was very rewarding, and I'm glad I did. But it's not incumbent upon the viewer of a film
No.
to go out of their way to, you know,
But could you imagine if they
mean, how much
enriched-
exposition would there need to
enriched
be?
the fucking character development with this lore that they just have thrown out there that they just don't add because they want to show some stupid high schoolers in a goddamn high school pool getting into a fight? AVP 2.
Requiem.
AVP 2.
I loved the Batman versus Predator.
I know about it.
You didn't read it?
No.
You have them all.
No, it's so
We
good.
have them all.
Yeah, and that's kind of it for me. So tell me, either you, your personal history with this, like anything you want.
All right, I think I was like 10, and my dad sat me down and got me through, basically gave me a base level of where to start with. It was Poltergeist, Jaws, Alien, and Predator. And I watched them all like back to back, and it was just very seminal to my fucking life. Like those four movies have basically, that's like everything I do now can be branched away from those movies. But Predator was just so badass because it was like I wasn't expecting how hardcore action it was. I was expecting more like a straight sci-fi, whatever. And I was very early in my Schwarzenegger training, so I really hadn't. I think I'd maybe seen Terminator before that, but I fucking loved him way more in Predator than Terminator. I was all aboard Schwarzenegger on Predator. That was like so
It's a
cool.
great character.
It's fucking amazing, and the whole thing how you turn invisible and everything. The jungle came alive. That whole fucking thing was just so badass.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura.
But as far as his performance, I mean, the last like 15 whatever minutes are there's no talking.
No, I know.
He carries it. I mean,
He's
that's
Schwartzing.
He's bad. He's Schwartzing for the last.
Yeah,
10
I mean,
minutes.
right,
it's
but he's
all-
not
it's a
just
bird
winking at the
point.
camera like,
No,
like
he's
you know,
mudded up,
it is
getting
serious.
covered in radiation. He's
Yeah.
just ready to go,
Yeah,
and that's how you should be when you're going
and he's
against the
straight.
galaxies.
And he's straight. Kevin McAllister in the forest. He's like using everything in the jungle to create his, pre Kevin McAllister.
Yeah, he's like Rambo. He's like a Rambo versus
Yeah.
an alien.
I liked what I said better. Kevin McAllister.
You want to come at me? Go ahead and
We'll
use
talk
that
later.
tone again.
We'll talk later.
All right, so let me chime in here. My personal opinion about these Predators. I first seen the Predator a long time ago, and it was pretty Schwartz. I liked it a lot. And then I got into 2, and I said, Danny Glover, what the fuck are you doing?
I don't
Why
want to
are
hear
you?
I don't want to hear any too derogatory talk.
Okay, I'll skip to 3.
Yeah.
And then 3 came out, and I was like, oh, wow, some good acting for the first time. There's no Danny Glover. There's no building. Oh, here I go again. Excuse me.
You're gonna get a slap in the mouth.
I'm so sorry.
I'll cut all the anti-Glover stuff out.
Thank you.
Cut all this out.
This is a pro Glover
This
cast.
is a pro Glover
Pro Glover
podcast. Anyway, I got into that, and then I started really looking into like the lore of it. I wanted to know about the background about the Predators.
You went down
which-
like the YouTube
I
rabbit
went down the rabbit hole. Yeah,
But before YouTube.
No, well, when you first saw it.
Yeah, but
there was no
YouTube really like brought to
That's
light
more
a lot
recently.
more shit than I ever thought.
I
So
mean, what
I mean,
else are you gonna do, man?
they're talking about
Go to the library?
The main
Yeah.
planet is called Yautja Prime,
Sure.
I believe.
Yautja!
The race is called Yautja. There's just this dope ass hierarchy where like the king or the ruler of Yautja Prime is like the most accomplished, absolute badass. He's killed like 10 queens and shit.
Alien Queens?
Alien queens, you know what I mean? Like, and like, you're not supposed to fight any alien queens unless you're a straight up badass ruler
you're
of
a gangster.
Yautja Prime.
Yeah.
But it was pretty dope. And I believe it was AVP2 where they get sent out the scout thing and says, oh shit, we got the Predator alien, we got the Pred alien out here. And it shows Yautja Prime for like a quick glimpse.
Yeah, it's
And
the
it
only
zooms
movie that you see it in.
Yeah, and it zooms in and this dude turns his whole shit around. He's got the TiVo, pulls the TiVo up, and he's watching and he's like, yo, that's Predator. I gotta take care of this. And he's like, I'm one of those dudes who rolls solo. I'm super hardcore and I'm dolo bolo. So he gets in his shit and he just takes out. And he's fucking out in space and he goes, wah, warp speed, wah. And then he shows up.
That's the official Warp Speed sound?
I mean, I don't know if it's official, Chris. You
Just-
know, don't go out and quote me.
One more time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, yeah. And anyway, and then the dude's there, and he's like, "Oh, let me hunt my shit, cause like my technology's out of control, even though I'm a fucking very simple boy who likes to hunt." And you know what happens in AVP2, it doesn't go well, and it's very
I
dark.
actually couldn't see anything happening in AVP2.
Truly, that movie sucks.
Oh, it's so bad.
Wolf is cool as a character.
Oh, absolutely.
but he's named Wolf because he's like the cleaner, like in Pulp Fiction.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, there was
he
always
blows up
three.
the ship.
There's always a team of 3.
And they're always and they're very protective about their technology. They don't want to leave anything behind. That's
which
why
is
they'd rather blow
the
up
fuck up
than anything else, you know?
Just like me, someday I'm gonna blow the fuck up and act like I don't know nobody.
Probably shouldn't have said that on there.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you're right.
It's alright.
That's very fair.
Wait, what is it?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So anyway, yeah, a lot of the movies they show the skulls, on the
Yeah.
ships. And
Well,
they show all the different,
2.
A couple. Okay,
Just 2.
don't clown on me right now, okay, Con?
Okay.
Chet,
Anyway.
are you clowning on Joe?
I feel like he is. Anyway, they show the skulls and shit, and it's like, wow, like I want to know about each one of these muffs on the wall because each one of their scullers is different. So I check it out, and I really love what the lore brings to me.
Were you... And so continue with your whole thing, because you talked about how it started. But did you watch these movies as they came out?
Pro bono.
Well, I did. I mean, when I first...
I mean, 2 came out in like 1991. I mean, you were probably like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. Like,
So
yeah, that one was the worst graphic.
2... Shut your mouth. 2 might have been right on the cusp of when I had first seen 1, so I don't know if I saw 2 like right VHS videos.
Which is probably why you didn't notice the CGI difference.
No,
I hope there's like a whole segment set aside for me to just go ham on my love for
without
you
any
guys
repercussions
just
for me.
just shitting all over it.
Favorite one?
All right, 1 is absolutely the superior film.
Okay, shut the fuck up then.
But
you know what I'm talking
listen
about.
to me. But if I'm sitting around, I'm sitting at my house, I've had a few beers, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm in a Predator fucking movie.
Yeah.
I'm just if I can finish my thought.
Oh no, you're right.
I'm sitting
Oprah's
around
advocate
and I've got all the Predators on Blu-ray, which I have. I would throw on,
Which of course I
but
have.
yeah, I would throw on 2. I don't know, something about 2. Honestly, all right.
That's simple nostalgia,
I'm
Chris. Simple nostalgia.
I'm gonna hold back because I've got a lot to say about 2, but I don't feel like this is the time.
We'll
yet.
get there.
All right.
Kind of what you're touching on too is that there is a difference between your favorite, which is often what you are more likely to
of
throw
course
on,
subjective, of course.
versus like, well, as someone who's seen a lot of movies and fancies themselves to like know slightly what I'm talking about. This is a better film. I mean, there are metrics for what makes
If I'm
a
gonna
good
fuck
movie.
around
right?
and watch any movie, it's AVP 1. I'm gonna fall asleep halfway through. That's the way I do it.
Nice.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now that's just my sleepy time movie. Everybody's got a sleepy time
Even though
movie, right?
arguably the second half of AVP 1 is the better half of that.
Of course it is, but I can't make that.
Yeah,
It's
negative
9 o'clock. I
splits.
put it on at 9 o'clock. What do you want me to do?
Why you putting it on so late?
Because I want to go to sleep to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of build-up with not much payoff, and
What
it
are
really only gets
what are you
good
kidding
when the fighting happens.
When Predator jumps her into the game.
A lot of wins there,
But-
kid.
When Predator jumps her in, from that point on, I'm all aboard.
All aboard, please.
The nice thing about the Predator franchise, though, is that basically, as long as there are Predators in it, it's a Predator movie.
There you go.
You don't have to toe any line because there's enough ambiguity about their history and stuff like that. They're obviously older than we are and just do their thing and always have. Whereas
Their sexuality is
AVP1, you get
ambiguous.
Charles Bishop Wayland. That doesn't work because of Prometheus.
What do you mean? He's Wayland Yutani, right?
Yeah, I know, but this guy doesn't work. He came out of nowhere.
That's why they made him an android.
No, he's not an android in that. Yeah.
He didn't work as a human. They made him a goddamn android. He works so good.
Is he?
He works so good for Ripley.
We can't talk
Look,
about
think
aliens.
about the
It'll
knives.
be all we do.
We gotta stop the alien.
You're right.
talk.
Yeah.
Let me reel it in.
Reel it in.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, kid. Hard to come back from that.
That high five was good.
So if you were to, off the top of your head, just right now, how would you rank the movies?
1 through Prey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I really liked Prey, but it's not my favorite.
All right, so do it.
I'd probably go 1, Predators, Prey. What's the in between one?
Predator.
Nah.
Predator 2.
Predator 2. Yeah.
Nah.
That's it, man.
That's it?
Yeah.
Unless you
Then-
count
then
AV.
the last
that-
two that sucked.
Yeah. What about you?
All right, me. I'm gonna go. All right, all right.
Like,
Personal.
yeah.
If it's personal.
Oh, here we go.
All right, I'm gonna still go Predator 1.
Thank
But that is an absolute fucking right on the line with Predator 2.
So absolute that you had a decisive decision for
I
it.
love Predator 2 so fucking much. So I'll say, here's my list. Predator, Predator 2, AVP, Predators, Prey, The Predator, AVP Requiem.
Chris, you're just throwing in the AVPs as if I didn't know that the AVPs were supposed to
Do you want to revise your list?
I count,
Oh, absolutely.
I count the AVP.
Then let's hear it.
All right, do yours again.
Including.
Let's revise this, shall we?
Do it.
AVP? Oh, no.
It's a superior film to the original Predator.
Listen, you got me all worked up.
All right.
You're saying a lot of
Take-
AVPs that I'm not liking.
Take a
My
beat.
brain's like, let's take it down a notch.
Take a beat.
All right, we're going to take number 1,
Okay.
Predator 1. Then we're going to take AVP, okay? And then we're going to take Predators. And then we're going to take AVP. No,
No, you wouldn't do it.
Careful, man.
just say.
We're talking about it.
Prey,
Okay.
Predator 2, and Prey, the Predator.
And then AVP 2.
And AVP 2, yeah. It's a shit show.
That's bad. All right, Shatley.
I'll do mine so we stay on topic. And again, I'm Johnny Come Lately. I have no historical anything, so I'm gonna say Prey.
Ooh!
Whoa, hot take.
Dude, that movie.
Hot
Was
take.
hot, dude. Was good, dude. was good. And that dude, the NBA player who played the Predator in that movie, fucking killed it. I know it's all body language at that point because he's got no lines, but he killed it.
Predator 2.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, you're putting 2 ahead of 1?
Predator. The Predator. AVP. Predators.
The Predator? Before Predators?
Requiem.
All right. Hot take.
So
What happened to you as a
love
child,
Prey. It is so good.
It's
kind of objectively
It's hot.
one of like the better like works.
Honestly, I enjoyed Prey, but honestly, a lot of the major reason that it took me out of it, I didn't really care for the earlier design.
I guess here's my understanding, from just a different part of the planet, of the Yautja Prime.
And he doesn't mind breaking the rules, which is fighting weaker foes.
Yeah, without weapons.
Well, but he
doesn't care about the
no,
weapons.
he abides by that here and there.
No, he does not.
He doesn't
That's
just
why he's being
slaughter.
hunted. No, he's a rogue Yautja. You are not allowed to do that because humans are considered weaker than Yautja. So if you go and if you actually find it, there's a certain class of Yautja called the Blooded or something.
Well, Blooded just
that would hunt.
means they've kind of proven themselves, they've graduated, they've killed a xenomorph.
But they also hunted those who deserted. Rogue.
Yeah, bad
Yautja.
bad bloods, like from the Predator, the one
exactly. And they're hunted by them.
The smaller one.
So the particular one in Prey was a completely unhonorable predator. It was not hunting people who had sophisticated enough technology or it was an actual threat to its hunt. And the only reason that it did what it did is because it didn't care. They had Yautjas that if you did certain shit, you're disowned. So you're just out in space. But if you fuck up beyond that, they will send people to kill you, which is why I didn't understand Prey, because Prey was like, this dude's an unhonorable dude. He's trying to kill
They're not as technologically advanced, you're right. But he was going after the warriors there, and he would temper. He wasn't using his shoulder cannon, plasma caster, just left and right.
But he also
was
fought
using
the bear.
it.
He
fought a bear. Yeah, bears are formidable.
He was looking for challenge, but he was, by the Yautja code, he was being a coward, disowned from his own kind. But at the same time, like, no Yautja would do that because it's not something you can brag about. Yautja kill things to brag about it for hierarchy. They don't kill like a queen, like an alien queen. Then there's no point in it.
Well, just like in The Predator, when she's in the decon room, just woman without clothes and no weapons, he just looks at her and walks away.
She had no weapons.
Just like in Predator 2, when he goes out with the pregnant woman. In the subway.
Or in AVP, he doesn't kill Charles Bishop Whalen because he's already got like
Because
metastatic cancer.
Dude,
you should mercy kill him at that point.
Yeah, and so he lights him up with the fire, and he said, "Don't turn your back on me."
Yeah, and then he's like, "Okay, fine."
Around, he's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, Whalen."
Yeah, you're dead. Many of these movies kind of sequel bait at the end anyway.
Of course.
They've
got nothing else.
2 throws a bunch at you at the end. There's different skulls. There's a xenomorph skull. You're like, what the what? I mean, there was no AVP at that point, except in the
what
books.
was that movie, Critters, back in the day?
Yeah, Critters.
That showed an alien skull. Was it Critters? No, there was the hunters from
the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann.
There was an alien skull or a predator skull.
Not in Critters.
Yeah.
Sorry, brah.
King.
Sorry, Barry.
I hate to cut you down a notch.
Sorry, Barry. Here's how I'm gonna hit you with something hardcore.
Yeah, why don't you? I'm gonna hit you with something hardcore called my knuckles.
Ready?
Yeah.
I watched Critters 1 and 2 today.
Today!
With the fact that you bring up Critters and I just happened to watch 1 and 2 with the kids today.
Something in there. There's something in there that's a reach back to some other movie.
There is no
The skulls on the wall. There's something. There's something.
Yeah,
here's what you're doing. Let me tell you right now, okay?
Do tell about it.
Ready? Opening scene of Critters 2. It's Charlie who's been taking Critters when he's joined
Right,
the bounty
yeah,
hunters.
I remember that.
They kill the creature.
Right.
They bring it back to the ship, and they open up a wall in the ship full of heads.
Yeah.
There is no xenomorph head in there, and they put the head that they put in there, and that's how it opens. Okay.
A lot of these movies sequel bait something else. And at the end of Prey, you get cave drawings, right? And then you see ships arriving on the cave drawings. So that's almost like they're coming back for their guy, coming back for their tech. What happens next? But to date, there has not been, with the exception of Requiem, there has not been a direct sequel to any of them.
No.
And
And
as far as I know, there's no plans to do so unless Prey made enough money that they're gonna.
I feel like they're just
try
grasping
again.
at straws, trying different plot lines until something sticks right now. Because
But I'd rather
honestly,
that. I mean, let this be the one that's like the only common thread is that Yautja are in it.
Yeah.
Totally different setting, totally different time. Often on Earth, usually on Earth, but not always.
Not always.
Right? Predators. So what would you like to see next? If you got to pitch an idea that they would,
I would
be
love to
guaranteed to develop, what would you
I
like
would like
to
to
see?
see the Yautja planet going to their most difficult hunts possible, which is on a different planet. There are supposedly in the lore these creatures that make the aliens look like absolute bitches, and they fucking just destroy planets. And they're not smart enough to go out into space, but the predators hunt them anyway. And there's this.
I think I've heard of this.
I forget what they're called.
I know.
They're
So is the
absolute.
species of alien worse than the xenomorphs?
Oh my god! Like
Yeah.
1,000 times worse. Like
They
are,
strike fear into the heart because
Yeah.
xenomorph drones are, and in this book, Prey,
Even,
that
in
I'm
the queens. The queens are no match for these
What is
creatures.
it called?
I don't know. Remember,
This
I
is
don't
from the
remember.
comic?
It's from the comic, or it's from the lore. It's canon.
Wow.
But I don't remember what it's called. There's these certain creatures that they would like very rarely hunt, and these things hunted in packs, and each one was a match for a Yautja, like strength-wise,
Cool.
but not skill-wise.
So that's the movie you want to see.
I would like to see something where like they're fighting their toughest fight ever. I want to see the best predators versus the craziest fucking shit in the universe. I would like to know about like what do the predators fear? I know what it looks like. I think it's 3-armed and it's got 2 hands. I mean 2 legs.
yeah.
2 hands.
3-armed. No, honestly, I'm not even sure that that's right.
Yeah.
But I know that there's much more fearsome things in the predator universe than the fucking aliens and the alien queens.
Yeah.
Which is like mind-boggling because that's pretty dangerous. That motherfucker.
Pretty
gets down
dangerous.
there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But I would love to see like what the predators consider like. I would like to see like the top 10 creatures that they hunt, or consider the top 10 most lethal creatures that they.
Because they seek things out that are a relatively
They're
even
sports
match.
hunters. They're
Even
sports
match.
hunters.
You know,
They're
they're not
sports
going to just
hunters.
walk into some suicide scenario.
Right.
Like,
They're sports hunters, so like they want to kill like the craziest shit with the least amount of equipment and do it like barehanded, because that gives you the most hierarchy in the Yautja Prime clan, which is pretty nuts.
So what about you? What would you like?
So I have carte blanche.
Yeah.
Final cut. Whatever I want.
Or you get to pitch an idea that gets made and gets made well.
All right. I have 2.
Yeah, good. Let's hear 'em.
As a huge fan of the Batman vs. Predator comics, I would fucking love to see that adapted, because I loved
That's
that
too much of a reach.
But I love the fact that
I
they
understand that.
But I
and
love the
would love
fact
it too.
that the Predators are objectively looking at Earth and they see Batman.
But like
operating.
legally speaking, it'd be a night.
Yeah.
I would say, because I love that the Predators are looking at Earth, right? And they're like, "Whoa, who's this fucking guy?"
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, "He's
This
something."
fucking guy's going
Yeah,
nuts.
what's this guy doing over
Dude's
here?
going
And
ham on
and-
these kids.
And they notice Batman, and they're like, all right, maybe I'll fucking take this.
Yeah, I wanna take
because
this
that
dude.
comic is fucking badass.
Yeah, it was. I read it.
I remember
the
I remember I used to read Batman vs Predator and Superman vs Aliens.
Yeah.
Remember Superman vs Aliens?
Very
Those
cool.
two comics.
Because he had less. He didn't have his powers from the sun, so he
Because
was,
he was
like,
on the moon. Since I'm just a nostalgia bitch, I would like them to just Force Awakens the shit and just give me an older Dutch. A situation occurs in the jungle.
I agree.
And they're
Let's
like,
go to the future.
and they're like, okay, something's going on. This seems kind of similar to what happened back in '84 or whatever.
See-
A Predator's on a different planet with different people. I
Yeah,
want
that's
Earth,
totally different. They're all
Amazon,
covered in mud.
an older Dutch, maybe leading a team.
But see, that's actually lore. That's actually lore. Is that Dutch
From
survives
hunting ground?
from hunting ground, yes, but little pieces of data equipment
Yeah.
you could buy or find on certain levels, but it would read to you what happened to Dutch.
That would be the movie, though, if I had a choice. It'd be either Batman
sounds good.
adaptation of Batman vs.
I
Predator.
mean, would I see it? Absolutely. Would I have high expectations? Absolutely not.
If I'm to take a turn,
No, you don't.
the thing I would like them to do is to make an AVP movie that's actually good.
Yeah.
And I think that Requiem is,
Requiem
is
had a
the
chance.
biggest example of a disappointment, because the audience wanted AVP 1 to have more gore. It was PG-13,
I know.
which is a cash grab, right?
Definitely.
The only reason to make a movie like that, PG-13
is to open all audience and,
right,
get as much
and keep
cash
it under
as
like a
possible.
tight running time so they can show it as many times per day as possible, like they did with Alien 3.
Was
Sorry.
AVP, was AVP pre Freddy vs. Jason or after? Because Frederick Jason made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think, if anything, that kicked off the Versus thing.
Oh, you think that had anything to do with AVP?
Freddy vs. Jason made a lot of money.
God damn it.
It did. It made a lot
Can
of
you
money.
imagine the hubris of this man?
I'm just wondering.
Can you imagine the audacity?
I'm gonna think AVP came out first, actually.
Oh, God. The goddamn guys.
2003 FVJ.
Oxygen bottles had the dude from slicing it off with his claws.
2004. But
shit,
just because
they were in development
release
at the same
dates,
time.
yeah, right. It's like, you know, but Requiem should have been where everything just was ignited because now it's rated R. Now you have a Predalien,
right?
Which should have been so
exactly.
freaking cool,
so
cool.
But instead, it's blacked out.
And the design was cool.
Yeah.
The design was great. I like, you know, when you see the production stills,
I hated it.
which are well lit, I like it. And I like the idea that the Yautja are so protective of their individual bloodlines, which they are. In that book, Prey, he wants to have 80 children before he dies or whatever.
As we all do.
Yeah.
But I did not care for the Predalien at all.
But they showed the Predalien for literally a combined total of 50
Just
seconds.
seconds. They called it Chet, right, during production, which is funny.
Shut up, did they?
Yes, because that was Bill Paxton's character in Weird Science.
Oh shit!
So somebody got him pregnant.
I guess. But that thing should have been badass. And Wolf was a great character, but again, there's too much drama, family drama about humans that I could freaking not care less about. And this is what we got. Okay, so anyway, the thing I would most like to see is a freaking AVP film done right, you know, and as someone who loved the Alien movies and certainly saw all of them well before I signed to this, it never even occurred to me to check those out. I'm like, it just won't be good. They're better than I thought, but
I want them to do with what Prometheus did for Alien. I want them to do that for Predator.
That'd be badass.
So you want to,
you know what I mean? Something super serious.
Yeah.
Something
super
very
hard
fucking hardcore. Something very fucking risky that people don't see coming.
I don't know where it came from, but I've heard the idea that the Yautja kind of came upon their technology, like they're
Really?
I mean, they're evolved. They're obviously evolved, and they have culture and
that would make
intelligence
sense.
and
that
language.
Would make sense if they're still in the hunting phase.
Some of that stuff,
but they have this technology,
kind of came to them,
right?
Which basically in Requiem, they found some of his weaponry and they gave it to Miss Yutani. That's how the movie ends.
Oh wow!
And that kind of power cell, like the whole energy storage and stuff that they got from that, allowed for interstellar travel in the Weyland-Yutani.
So the Predators didn't come up with this technology themselves.
But I forget.
Well, that's what they say, but I don't know if it's canon.
Right. That's the idea I've heard, and I forget where I heard it.
God only knows what's canon at this point. It's whoever buys whatever they want, that's canon now.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? So Trachtenberg, who directed Prey, said that he assumed
the same girl who did Spy Girls.
The same girl who was Buffy's sister in season 5.
Yeah. Michelle Trachtenberg.
Michelle Trachtenberg and Dawn, who was in Buffy season 5.
Yeah, Spy Girls, Chris.
Yep, she's
Spy
the
Girls.
Yeah.
So Trachtenberg said that he assumed once he got the job, once the project was going, he would receive the Predator Bible. There'd be some kind of sloppy notebook that
like
says,
there is with Star Wars.
Here's all the probably.
Yeah, no, I mean the Lucas
that exists.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, exactly along those lines.
Right.
And
but there's nothing there.
Here's the weapons. Here's the origins. Here's the stuff. Here's what's canon. He's like, there's nothing.
No.
He did not even know about the canon origins of the gun from the end of Predator 2. That they bring into Prey, Raphael Adolini's flintlock pistol. Ooh. He didn't know about the Dark Horse comic where it had its own backstory. He just didn't even know, right?
Oh, wow.
You don't have to be the biggest, deepest fan to take a job.
What a piece of shit.
Prey's okay.
But he gave it its own,
that Japanese girl,
its own thing. Raphael Adolini is one of the trappers and gives her the gun, which is more sequel bait. Well, how does it end up in the hand of Greyback or whoever it is at the end of that tosses it to Harrigan?
Whoever's been trapping's got the most money. That's what I know from the hood.
There is no centralized source of information.
It's like I said to my friend, there is no grand plan.
What should we talk about next?
I'd like to talk about...
Talk about your favorite one and why you like it.
So, Joe, what's your favorite one and why do you love it?
Oh, my favorite one. The one with Adrian Brody.
Right.
Because he broads out hard. I can't stand Christopher Grace, and I love, or whatever.
Is he the one in the orange jumpsuit?
Yeah, the serial killer dude. I can't wait for him to get
they're all despicable
up.
people. I mean, that's the
they're
point.
all scum. But it's like, if we're going to take anybody to face the predators, we're going to take the scum, okay?
So if you had, if like, gun to your head, you're on a desert island, they're like, you have one Predator movie to watch before I blow your fucking brains out, you're choosing Predator.
Well, see, Prey is so obvious and it's so scripted. It's like, there's really just like 4 parts to Prey. It's like, there's this, it's like 4 quarters to this.
So you're saying Predators and Prey are close in competition for which
No. Prey, I don't think is, I think it's good.
If I have a choice,
Go ahead.
it's hard to. You got fucking Glover. I believe it's in between Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. So he's already established his Murtaugh character. I'm pretty sure.
He'd already been a cop,
and now he's become Donald Glover.
So you think? Wait, you give me Schwarzenegger in part 1, this huge muscle-bound maniac who's gonna fight the Predator, and you're giving me Danny Glover in part 2? This is bullshit. But fucking Glover comes through so hardcore when when him and the Predator are like jump up in between the 2 buildings, like hanging off the
I have an issue with that, but yeah.
And then
sorry, Barry,
and then,
non-realistic.
And then Predator comes smashing through that chick's apartment, and he stops he stops in the sink and just makes his fucking makes his concoction and just putting his shit on there, and he's like screaming.
That part was funny. I really liked that. That was so 90s.
Then you got the dude in like the
but then when he runs out, it looks a little silly.
I know. Chris, the end of the movie where everybody's wearing that aluminum foil suit.
No, that's classic Busey.
Classic.
Yes,
Busey.
that's
you know what they call classic?
No. Predator 2 has Busey off. What I could be incorrect with my timeline here. This is after Busey kicked Riggs' ass at the end of Lethal Weapon 1.
Yes.
Okay, so you're coming off of that Busey. This is the peak Busey. You're not going to get better Busey.
I understand that he was
Predator 2.
Yeah.
Predator 2. Gary Busey, Danny Glover, Bill Paxton. That's just. Can I do anything?
The only reason.
Go on?
The only reason it's good is Bill Paxton.
No, that's not. Danny Glover
Definitely
is fucking amazing.
Chris, it's
Agreed.
game over.
Danny
man.
Glover.
It's game over.
It's like you think this guy could not hold his own against muscle-bound Schwarzenegger, but he fucking does. And he's just like this regular cop. He's sweating because this is LA and like the whatever 1997 that they projected, and it's like everything's hot and terrible, but he's still so fucking awesome. And he kicks ass, and he saves everybody. And then at the end of the movie, he kills the Predator. All the other guys show up. And he's not even terrified. He's like, "What's up? Who's next?
I'm done.
I already took one of you out. Let's go."
But it's not about
Color Purple.
It's not about that. Danny Glover is the most badass he's ever been in Predator 2.
And they don't avenge the dead. That City Hunter failed.
Yeah, and the whole part where the Predator kills that Jamaican drug gang in
Yeah,
the beginning, and he hangs them up inside their sweet loft.
Because drug dealers
are trash.
They're
and
trash
Predator's
people.
taking them out.
Can't wait to kill them.
The
Like
subway
that-
scene. The subway
Cerno.
scene
Right.
when Predator finds the pregnant girl and he's like, "I'm not gonna hurt you," is cool because it's almost like in 2018 Halloween when Michael walks through the house and he sees the baby crying and he stops and then keeps going.
You're not allowed to relate. He's getting me real hyped up.
I'm dipping my toe in some
damn it.
David
You're
Gordon Green
fucking
Halloween
up.
real quick. But I like the fact that it like speaks to what Predator stands for, and you didn't see that in part 1. But the fact that he will see, you're not really a threat. I'm not just out to kill you for anything. All right, so what's yours? Best one.
Yes.
The one I would watch tonight, framing it the same way you would be 2. And that's the most fun.
Predator 2 getting its love. Finally.
It's kind of that Terminator 1, just when American cities were just lost.
All right, Predator 2 came out in 1990, and I love that this came out in 1990, and they projected 7 years from
they
where
used to
we
do that
are.
all the time. Remember,
But
they were like 2020.
I love the world.
Flying cars.
I love the world that it's created. Everything's hot. Everything's like shitty. The guns. The only thing you're right. The only thing as far as technology is concerned is they've got like Blade Runner. Guys.
The gun, they just look a little bit different. Dumb.
It's good. No, I like those.
I like them. All right, so I think with all that said, like we're pretty good. I don't know where we're gonna end up time wise, but plugs. So talk about what you do. Favor to Betty, where can we find you?
Oh yeah, we have a skit group like Kids in the Hall style. We're on YouTube.
I'll put a link in the description because it is really hard to find you on YouTube.
All I do is violate copyright left and right.
That's
so
very fair.
It's Favor to Betty. That's our film group. That's what I do.
Where can people find you besides in everything?
Well, I do a little bit of, what's that called when they draw your picture on a beach?
Caricatures?
Caricatures. Yeah, I do a lot of caricature work nowadays. Go ahead with Chet.
You can find me here.